It is 1 minute before 9, but I'm too excited. I got to get us started. Are you okay with that, Heidi and Paula? All
Yes.
right. All right,
Good
guys,
morning.
welcome to Ignite. We still have more members jumping on. We have 465 of you that registered for this first ever New England region digital Ignite. So congratulations to all of you. Welcome. I'm going to introduce myself, introduce our coaches. Some of them are here. Not all of them that you're going to be hearing from are here, but a lot of them are. I want to tell you a little bit about how this all gets started, and then we're going to jump right into Ignite. So my name is Jen Bovey. You probably have seen me once or twice in an email promoting our Ignite 2.0. I have been a team leader for Keller Williams since 2012 and teaching Ignite since 2012. And I have to tell you, Ignite has been one of those courses that has propelled myself and so many other agents to becoming cappers and growing businesses that you couldn't even imagine, including my own. So I have to say, Ignite personally has helped me tremendously, and that is my excitement here. I know that if you dial in to this course, if you really just dial in and listen to the coaches and listen to your peers, your members here at this Ignite, you are going to get so much out of this. It's really just about dialing in. I love what's going on in the chat. You guys are introducing yourselves, and that's a big part of this. Networking. We have a whole region here that we could network from. Have any of you, and by the way, this is a participation class. This is a workshop, so I'm going to encourage you to put your camera on. It's okay, we no judgment here. Put your camera on. We want to participate with you because, as my good friend and mentor, Diana Kokoska, says, how you participate here, you participate everywhere. So I want you guys to really participate in this workshop session or sessions as we go along and get the most out of this. So let me get us started with our coaches today. Spark 1 is being taught by Heidi Kelly and Paula Welsh, who they're going to be joining us in a few minutes. Before we go over to them, I have to thank our entire New England region productivity coaches, especially Erin McLaughlin and Tim Lindsley. They have been heading this whole thing to get this delivered to you guys, and we're here today. This has been in the works for months, and I'm excited for this. Here's the other thing. We want to get better at this. We know that the first attempt might not be the best. It's going to probably be the worst ever, right? It's only going to get better from here, as Gary would say. So here's the thing. I would love feedback from you guys. Honestly, feedback is what I want to hear because we want to get better. So as we go along with these sessions, if you say, "Ooh, I wish we did. Oh, I wish I had," please email me. It's jbovey@kw.com. My name is on the screen. That's my last name, B-O-V-E, jbovey@kw.com. Please reach out to me anytime, and we're only going to look to improve this, but I'm excited to get it started. So I'm going to shut up now, and I'm going to turn it over to Heidi and Paula. And let's get started. Heidi, Paula, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hi, Paula.
Hi, Heidi.
How are you?
I'm really excited. How are you?
As am I. I can barely hold still, honestly. So, as Jen said, Paula and I will be your instructors for today. And I just wanted to give you a little breakdown of the way today's going to work. So Ignite is a class that runs from 9 to 12, Monday through Friday, except during Mega Camp. And we will have a short break in between, just to let you know. We do encourage you to please put any comments, questions that you have in the chat, and definitely participate. We learn as you learn as well. So let's go ahead and dive in. You ready, Paula?
I'm ready.
Okay, all right. So let's just talk a little bit about what Ignite is. And I will get my screen up and running and shared. There we go. Okay, so Ignite is defined as a month-long training program that's designed to equip everybody that takes it with the essentials to build a successful real estate business. The first 2 weeks of Ignite are called Spark. This is the beginning of Spark. Spark is, the goal for Spark is for agents to be able to get an appointment with a buyer or a seller within your first couple of weeks. We're going to set you up so that you're going to be able to sign a contract in 30 days so that you can be able to begin building the career and the life that you imagined in real estate. I think that's pretty exciting. So the way that this is going to work is the goal every day is to be able to build a database, practice your scripts or dialogue, and you're going to contact prospective clients, buyers, sellers, landlords, tenants, and you're going to get to know the real estate market. This is through something that's called the Daily 10-4, and we'll explain that as we get towards the end of this session. In the next 2 weeks, you're going to go into a part of Ignite that's called Elementals. And in Elementals, this is where we establish the core activities and habits that you will be using your entire career in real estate, not just as beginners, but throughout your whole entire career. You're going to end up doing activities that will help increase your business, increase your mindset, increase your knowledge of the real estate market, so that you, when you present to buyers and sellers, come across as a knowledgeable, well-versed real estate agent. You're going to be learning to preview the market so that when clients ask you, how's the market in our area? You're going to be able to answer that. You're going to hopefully read The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and you're going to be watching selected videos that we assign you to watch. So that's kind of an overview of what Ignite is. Here we have your big why. So I'd like to ask in the chat box, if you could put down why you became a real estate agent, what drew you to real estate, and what are your hopes, dreams, and goals that you would like to achieve. And while you're typing that in, I'm just going to continue, and Paula's going to let me know what some of the responses are. The important part is in your big why is you need to establish your mindset and your goals from the beginning. So mindset's really, really important because as Henry Ford said, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. When you think about your mindset and your big why, take a moment to envision what you picture your life to be. What is the ideal that you see for yourself and your family? What could you do for the people you care about with your real estate career? What charities could you support? Or foundations could you develop? How could you make the lives of others and everyone around you better? So Paula, are we getting anything in the chat?
We are. So some of the things we're getting is to build a career for myself, to be financially independent,
Yeah.
To be able to take my husband and children on an all-expense paid trip that I pay for, and to create a new lifestyle for myself, autonomy, freedom, financial. I want to do something that has a real positive impact on people.
Awesome. Those are some wonderful ideas. And Paula, keep shouting out some that come in. I think it's really important for us to really stop and think about why we get into this business and what this business is going to do for us and our family.
Mm-hmm. Yep, there's a lot about helping people, a way to make real money, flexibility as a military spouse, interested in disability and vet housing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So there's a lot of different angles.
Right, and there's nothing that can stop you. You have all of the power in the world in your mind and in your learning to get you to achieve those big whys that you have put up there. Mm-hmm. So it is important to establish your mindset and your goals from the beginning. I'm sure most of us have had different jobs throughout our life, and we've had moments where we've really struggled with mindset and finding motivation. Has anybody else other than me had that?
Yes.
Yeah. And during Ignite, you're going to learn a lot about the ins and the outs of how to find and keep your business. You're going to learn everything that you need to do to make the deal happen. And the more connected you are with what you want, the more connected that big why is to your business, that is what's going to power you through. Got it? All right. So now I'm going to ask another question. Has anyone heard of something called a limiting belief? Put it in the chat box if you've heard of it. And how would you define that? Paula, what is a limiting belief? What do you think that is?
So a limiting belief is something that can hold you back.
Hmm.
And if you listen to your own mind, our mind gives us tons of limiting beliefs all the time. If we listen to them, it can hold us back.
Yeah, yeah. So a limiting belief for me when I first started was, I don't know who to call. I don't know who to call as a new agent. We're gonna go over that today because you're gonna be surprised at how many people you really do know. Paula, what about you? Did you have a limiting belief?
One of mine was that everybody knows a real estate agent.
Oh, yeah.
How would anybody use me? Everybody knows a real estate agent.
Right, right. I have in some of my classes with some of my agents, I hear a limiting belief of, I don't want to bother people. I think I'm bothering them.
There's another great one in here, Heidi, and it's, I'm not a salesperson.
I'm not a salesperson. No, no. Yeah, yeah, I can understand that. So we're going to address some of those limiting beliefs and we're going to change those around, because one of the things we here at Keller Williams is we come from contribution, right? So we don't want to come across as if we're a used car salesman. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but we want to come across as if we're here to help. What can I do for you that's going to make your life better and easier? It could be something very, very simple. So when you come from contribution, to me, that's a limiting belief squasher right there. All right. So the limiting beliefs are ways and thinking that hold you back from success. We've already discovered that. As you go through Ignite, you're going to start thinking things like, I don't have time to do lead generation. I don't have time in my day to set aside 2, 3, 4 hours to do lead generation a day. But when Ford said, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. He knew that mindset was the biggest factor involved here, and that determines your success. So that's going to propel you forward or it's going to hold you back. And through Ignite here, we want to be able to propel you forward. And then once you're out of Ignite, within your market center is going to propel you forward as well. So it doesn't end when Ignite does. So as you go through Ignite, look for ways that your own limiting beliefs are affecting your mindset. And as soon as you realize that it's affecting your mindset or it's affecting your thinking or doing something in Ignite, stop it. I want you to hear my voice in your head saying, knock it off, cut it out, stop it. You can do this. Don't put barriers in your own way. So we want you to connect your goals to your big why. That's why knowing why you're in this business is so very, very important. Okay. So now we're going to talk a little bit about what successful agents do every day.
Heidi, can I just jump in really quickly? I just want to direct anybody who is looking for the materials. In the chat section, Erin did post the Drive link for anybody who's looking for the materials for today's session. And by the way, if you have not become a member of our private Facebook group, please go do that because all of the resources are in there as well for this session and every other session. So just wanted to make sure everybody had that. Continue.
Thank you. So this is a list of what every successful agents do every day. They work on growing their business and they run their business. In growing your business, it's lead generating for buyers and sellers, making listing presentations and getting the listing, making buyer presentations, picking up the buyers, and previewing real estate. Running your business is about marketing the listings, showing buyers houses, negotiating the contracts, transaction management from contract to close, vendor management, setting goals, compliance and risk management, attending training, getting coaching, and managing money. So here's the secret. Everybody write this down. Here's the secret to a successful real estate agent. You ready? There is no secret. Ta-da! Success leaves clues. We know exactly what successful real estate agents do every day because it's written down here. These are the activities that are going to help you achieve your big why. And every time you do them, you know that you're going to do it and achieve the life that you want. So as I tell my agents when I'm coaching them, you have a license as a realtor. Your real job is lead generation. That's your daily job, to lead generate every single day. So the goal of our time here is to model what successful agents do every day and how they go about doing it. I'm going to start with Spark. With Spark, you're going to start with your sphere of influence, and we'll talk a little bit about that. You're going to know your tools. You're going to prepare for success. You're going to have recaps and ahas, and you're going to do daily success habits. So we have a little video here of Gary Keller. He's coming to visit us, and he's going to welcome us into Ignite.
Hi, I'm Gary Keller. This course will allow you to get off to a fast start you can build on. Because if you repeated the principles every 90 days for a year, believe me, you have an awesome first year. And just as important, you would have built the foundation and momentum for your entire career. It is practical, realistic, and easy to apply. It's about the fundamentals that determine your level of success in the business of real estate. From our research with top agents, we have found that they too started their careers with these fundamentals, and they continue to do them along with their teams to this very day. And it's not hard. It just requires a little focused effort, a few hours every day. Now, there is really just one way to achieve the goal. It's lead generation. Other skills are important, yet without leads to work with, your skills won't mean a thing. Dealing with business never takes precedence over what? Finding business. Never. Research shows that top producing agents make lead generation their #1 priority and the one thing they make sure they always get done. You can do this. And when you do, you will get the leads, the relationships, the experiences, the career, and the income that you want in this earth. Go get them, and good luck.
Thank you very much, Gary Keller. All right, but before we go on to this slide, in the chat message, what does Gary tell us should be our #1 priority? Put your answers in the chat, please. What's the #1 priority?
Yeah, everyone's got it, Heidi. Lead generation.
Oh my goodness, I'm seeing it. I was able to finally find my chat. Wow, look at that. Yes, it's all lead generation. So remember, you're a realtor, but your job is lead generation. And what does the video tell you about what to expect from Spark? What can you expect from Spark? So Spark is going to build your career. It's going to help you with your mindset. It's going to drive you to your big why. Success every day in lead generation, models of lead generation, a launch pad. Love it. Fundamentals for success. Absolutely. Absolutely. You guys are paying attention. Love it. Okay. So nothing else about your business will have as big of an impact on it as the number of leads you have, right? So to get those number of leads, we have to lead generate every single day. So your skills, they don't mean anything without your leads to be able to use them on. So I also, Paula, let me ask you this. Have you heard from newer agents something along the lines of, well, I'm a little uncomfortable about lead generation and doing it because I don't know what I'm doing yet.
Absolutely, Heidi. And I
Confident
hope
yet.
that all of those people are on Ignite right now.
Yeah.
Ignite, they'll feel much more comfortable.
Yeah. So is anybody else here feeling that you're new and you're just not comfortable doing lead generation because you don't have the skills to back it up? Yes. I'm seeing lots of yeses.
Me.
Yes, absolutely. Guess what? All of your coaches on this call and Jen, we've all been there. We've been there. And sometimes, depending on our days, that limited belief can sometimes sneak up on us by surprise too. And then we have to flick it off our shoulder. And that's okay to feel that way. There's nothing wrong with that. How do you go about changing something when you feel uncomfortable about doing it? Practice? Doing it? Yes, you have to do it. So you have to kind of stretch that rubber band a little bit. I use this with my coaching agents. You got to jump in. You got to stretch that rubber band. You got to know that, yeah, you could fall, but my gosh, you could fly. Imagine that. Imagine that if you took off and you ended up just doing it and skyrocket. Your trajectory would be out of this world. Practice, practice, practice. Do it, do it, do it. That's what it comes down to. Okay. All right, so this is a little bit of a breakdown of Ignite. So Ignite is 4 weeks where you're going to learn foundations for success, including your daily success habits. Your daily success habits are the things that successful agents do every day, which is lead generation. And the first 2 weeks is called Spark. That's the little circle curly Q things that you see. That's the whys and hows of lead generation. So what this is going to do is this is going to build you up, build up your mindset, build up your skills, build up your confidence to be doing those lead generation calls, and you will be set up to be able to set an appointment because you're going to have that knowledge and you're going to have that skill. This is the incubator for success where you're going to learn that successful mindset, that lead generation, and you're going to earn the confidence of the buyers and the sellers in your first appointments. Somebody sneezed, bless you. After that, you're going to move on to elementals, and you're going to learn the skills that are needed to take the appointments and to go through a successful closing. So let me just throw out a little statistic at you. According to the National Association of Realtors, 66% of sellers and 41% of buyers found an agent through a friend. What do you think about that? I think that's pretty good. So you have what's called, warm sphere. That's your sphere, what's called your sphere of influence. The people that you know and the people that know you, trust you, and want to see you do well in your business. So what I'd like you to do at this time is grab your phones. Everybody grab your phones. Open it up and go to your contacts, your phone book. And I'd like you to scroll all the way down to the bottom of your contacts, right at the end. And in the chat, can somebody start typing in the total number of people in their phone?
Wow, 11,006.
Wow, look at 20. I just, holy cow, it's going by so fast I can't read it. I thought I saw something that was over 4,000. Yeah. Yeah, so guess what? You guys know a lot of people. This is fabulous. Who has extra contacts I can share? Thanks, Richard. That's great. So at this time, math is not my forte, but we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna try this here, all right? I have Jen Bovey as my backup. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to take that total contact number that you have in your phone, and I'd like you to multiply it by 6%. This is the number, this number gives you the average number of real estate actions that could potentially be happening within the next 12 months in your sphere of influence. So you take that total contact number, multiply it by 6%, and that gives you a number. Those are potential real estate happenings that could happen within the next 12 months within your sphere of influence. Yeah, look at those numbers. Those are some good numbers that are coming in, right?
Heidi,
So
where do you
now-
get those numbers from? Like, did you just make that up out of the blue?
No, it's here on my paper, Jen.
But where else do you find that?
I didn't realize there was going to be a test, so you're going to, oh, the MREA book. Yes, of course. I'm so happy I went first on this call. Yes, the MREA book. I should know, I just got done teaching that session 2 weeks ago. With this number that you pulled up, of the next 12 months of what could happen within your sphere of influence, what I'd like you to do now is I'd like you to take that and multiply it by your average commission rate in your marketplace. So that's going to be different for everybody. So average commission rate for some market centers, it could be 7,000. For others, it could be 6,250. For some, it could be 5,000. For others, it could be 10,000, 12,000. And if you're not sure, go with the average of 6,000 as an average commission rate. This number that you're going to be computing, it's going to show you the potential income opportunity that just in your phone. Look at some of those numbers, Paula. 104, 852,000, 89,000, 834,000. Is that right? 810? Wow. That's just in your phone, guys.
So Mandy asked if we could repeat how to do it.
Yes, absolutely. So you take your total number of contacts in your phone. You'll find that, scroll all the way down to the bottom of your contacts, and it will tell you your total number of contacts in your phone. And then you're going to multiply it by 6%, found in the MREA book written by Gary Keller. And that will give you your potential real estate actions that could happen within the next 12 months just from your sphere of influence in your phone.
So Heidi, I'm going to break that down if that's okay with you. I'm going to take 2 seconds to break it down. And again, it's from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. If you guys don't have this, this is where it's at. If you don't have it right behind you or right on your desk, I'm telling you, this is your roadmap to where you want to be successful. Everything that we're learning here came from this book right here. So what Gary says in this book, and it's not Gary, he actually interviewed over 100 top agents and got the statistics here. He says, out of every 12 people in your database, you're going to get 2 types of business from. One is going to refer you to somebody else, and one is actually going to be a piece of business. So that's what Heidi is referring to for every 6 people in your database, because every 6 is going to be a piece of business within the next 12 months. And I was going to say but, Heidi, but I'm going to say and. That's if you nurture that sphere of influence, which this course is going to teach you how to do. So that way you never miss out on that opportunity for that income potential. I'm looking at this income potential, Heidi, and it's like, it's making me excited, and it's also making me nervous because I know that some of us on here are missing this. What page? You know what? That's a good question. Let me find out and I'll get it to you. Okay, Joyce.
In the lead generation.
It is. I'll find the page and I'll post it in here. But here's the thing. Some of us on here are going to hear what we just said and miss that opportunity. I wore this shirt today, Opportunity Knocks, because there is always an opportunity here. And if there is anything you're taking out of this course, I'm going to ask you guys to hear what Heidi just said about your sphere of influence, because they are the most important people in your world. And by the way, the second thing, you have 284 of you on this call today. If you're not friends with each other by the end of this, you're missing the boat on that too, because people in your phone are not just from your area. I know that I have people in my phone from Massachusetts and I'm in Rhode Island. I know I have friends in New Hampshire and Maine and the rest of New England. So make sure you start networking with each other, because that will also be a source of your income. All right, that's all I have to say. I promise I'm going to leave you alone now, Heidi.
Heidi, real quick, if I could jump in. Bovie makes a great point. I think if we have veteran agents on this call, the typical pushback we hear is, well, I had that amount of people in my database last year, Tim, and I didn't experience those numbers. And what Heidi was saying, and she said it clearly, you have to make sure you were listening for it, there are opportunities there, right? So if you run that math, you might have had 24, 36, 85 different opportunities in the next 12 months that will take place. What we need to do is we need to get involved in those opportunities by interacting with these people, nurturing those conversations. And Bovie's shirt says opportunity knocks, it also calls, right? We have to talk to the humans and remind them we're alive and we're here to help.
Yes.
They're not going to come find us. It's not their job to remember we're here. We have to remind them we're alive and we're here to help.
Yep. Well said. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Jen. Okay, so we're getting, yes, capitalize on it. I love what Amanda was just saying here. So this is, again, this is potential. It's our job to remind everybody that we are here for them, that we are their friend, we are their family, we are their sister, their brother, their next door neighbor, but it's up to us to remind them that we are here for them as a friend, as a realtor, as a resource. It's not up to them to remember us. So we have to constantly be in touch with everybody on a regular basis. We're going to go into that a little bit more as we move on. So next screen. So we're going to start with your sphere. Who can tell me in the chat, and this Paula's going to take over after this, what is a sphere of influence? We talked about it a little bit. What is a sphere of influence? SOI. The chat went silent. Okay, here we go.
Your immediate circle of people. People you know and trust. People you've already connected with. Family, friends, people close to you.
Right. So could your mailman be in your sphere possibly? Does he have to be in your phone? What about your hairdresser, your dentist, your vet, your dog walker? Yes, everyone you know. And do we want to build our sphere of influence? Do we want to get to know more people? I think that's a good idea. I love getting to know more people. I love talking to people. I'm a high I, and I like people to like me too. So that's important. Right, Jen? Yes, it is. Okay. All right. Paula, you are up. Would you like to take over the screen, and I will end the show and you take over?
If you want to, that's fine, or we can just keep going the way it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit more of your sphere of influence, right? So everyone that you know that knows you, why do you think this is important? Why is your sphere of influence really, really important? You already have the trust, right?
Yeah.
That's key, right? They want to see you do well, right? If somebody knows you and cares about you, they want to support you and they want to help you do well. They're going to be your biggest advocates. So spending your time reaching out to them, building those relationships even stronger, and making sure that they know how to refer you. And we'll talk about that later. It's also not their job to know how to get you business. You need to explain that to them. You know, we all have people in our lives, and if you haven't experienced it yet, you will, where maybe you didn't keep in touch with them often enough. And what happens is they forget to refer you. So all of a sudden you'll be talking and they'll say, oh my God, my brother just bought a house, right? That's heartbreaking, but that's not their fault. You need to remember to stay in close touch with these people because they do want to help you.
Paula, didn't you tell me about that happening to you recently?
It did, unfortunately. So last weekend, I got together with some friends out at a socially distant fire pit. And one of my friends said to me, oh my gosh, you know, I want you to come do a market analysis on my father's house. I said, oh, that's absolutely great. And then my other friend said, you know, my friend Susie just bought a house and she was just looking. And I said, didn't you tell her about me? And she said, no. I said, okay, let's practice this, Cindy. I know a great realtor. She's a good friend of mine. Could I please give her your information? And I had her practice with me a couple times and we made a big joke out of it. But you know what? Now she's going to remember to refer me next time. So it's really important. And she just didn't even think of it. Right? So you guys, when you're having these conversations, it's also important to mention they don't have to live nearby, right? Because we're part of Keller Williams and we have a great referral network, your sphere of influence can know somebody any place that we have an office. Yeah. And you can help them find a great agent. And again, you'll find lots of great agents in the New England region right here. So keep everybody in mind, support each other. So when it comes down to doing business, would you rather do business with people you know, trust, and respect? Right? Your friends do too. Your friends do too. So one way to think of this is, who can you think of right now that's going through a change in life? Something, you know, having a new baby, kids all moved off to college. What are some other changes in life that could affect someone wanting to buy a house? Why don't you throw some in the chat box?
Divorce, retirement, getting married, new job, baby, inheritance, downsizing, fleeing the city. Kids are gone, empty nest. Yeah, vacation homes, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot, right?
Yes, there is.
So as Heidi mentioned the stat earlier, 66% of sellers and 41% of buyers found their agent through a friend. So another way to think about this, right, is sometimes we have limiting beliefs. As we said earlier, one of the limiting beliefs is I don't want to bother my friends and family. So what's a great way to get over that? The thing I tell myself is, would somebody else take better care of my friends and family than I would? How would I feel if my good friend or someone, a cousin or an aunt or an uncle, used a different agent and the other agent did not do a good job?
Yeah.
Right? I'd feel terrible. So forget about the fact that you're bothering them and remember that you're calling to help them. And you really want to help them. No one can take better care of them than you.
Paula, can I interject something here? Chelsea Harris has it right. She's saying move from E to P, from entrepreneurial. So she's also saying that coming from contribution, we talked a little bit about this earlier. And I ask my agents when they say, oh, I feel like I'm bothering, I know I've got to be bothering them. And I said, have they told you? Well, no, we haven't called them to find out. Exactly.
Right, right. You also can't make up stories. Diana Kokoska, one of the favorite things she has ever said to me that has impacted my life is stop making up stories. Yeah. So unless they've told you that you're bothering them, don't tell yourself you're bothering them.
Yeah.
Right?
But when we do, that's just another limiting belief that we need to flick right off our shoulder.
It sure is, yep. So the other great thing about calling our sphere of influence is it doesn't cost anything, right? We want to play red light, green light in our business, and we do not need to spend money on leads when we have a tremendous sphere of influence that wants to support us. So since you already know them, they require fewer touches, they require less effort to build that relationship, and people you haven't already met, they're going to take a lot more time to build that relationship. So your sphere of influence is more than just your family and friends. If you turn to page 7 in your participation guide, take a look at that. And who do you know that's going through a life event that might lead to a move? Who doesn't yet know that you're a real estate agent, right? For you agents on the call that have done business that are not absolutely brand new, I'm curious, who in your what percentage would you say has come from your sphere of influence out of the production that you've had so far?
50%, 100, 90, 10, 80.
Right.
Those are good numbers, high numbers.
Mm-hmm. The majority of agents I work with, right, their first deals come from people they know. So just keep in mind how important it is to stay in touch with your sphere and not just call them when you're looking for business, right? We're going to talk a little bit more about that as well.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so if we go to the next slide, these are the waves in the likelihood of moving. So if you look at it, right, the top little dot there, this shows us the cycle of a buyer. So the average person moves about every 8 to 10 years. And right after a move, their likelihood of moving is pretty slim, right? It's at its lowest point. But over time, they begin to more likely to look at buying and selling, especially during times like this, right? People might be moving a little bit faster than they would have on the average. So when you look at that, there's people at every point in that little wave in your life. So I'd like you to just take a minute and write down about 5 to 7 people from your sphere of influence and where they are on that wave model. So who might be thinking about moving soon, who recently moved, and kind of who's somewhere in the middle. And just put down 5 to 7 people there.
Also, in the chat message, if you're finding, as you're thinking about this, that you're surprised by the number that you're looking at, let us know. Let us know what your numbers are.
Yeah, so Stephanie just put that people really don't buy houses that often, is what she's thinking, right? So I recently just had clients, 3 sets of clients at once that moved every 4 years. And it happened at the same time. 4 years, they were in and out of their house.
Yep,
So
3 to 5 years average. Oh, look at that, it's already posted. She's quick.
It can be really, really surprising, guys. Again, that's another story that we can put in our head, right? They just moved 3 years ago. They're not going to be ready to move. You don't know what's going on in their life.
Yeah.
Not only that, guys, but with everything that has changed this year, I mean, nobody expected 2020 to look the way it looks, right? So the way that I'm seeing this, and I hear our other associates talking about it, there are a lot of people that even bought last year that decided that the place that they're in doesn't fit their needs currently because it changed so significantly during the pandemic. Whether it be they need a new home office, or they want an outdoor pool area, or whatever the case may be, more yard because they want to do things at their house. Things have changed quite significantly in the last 9 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would say, listen, scratch that 3 to 5 years and talk to everybody. I have a story that just this weekend I was out to dinner with my in-laws, and we were just having a conversation, and they have a house in Maine and a house in Connecticut. And they said, we've been thinking about maybe possibly listing our house in Connecticut. What do you think? Because they have the means to live in another house. And we had that conversation. I said, well, do we talk to somebody up here? What do we do? That fell on me because they didn't know who to talk to, because I didn't give them the permission to be able to have that conversation with me to start. So that was an eye opener for myself, that I'm not telling the story to my closest friends and family. Are you? So that's just a quick story I wanted to share with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thanks, Jen. It's really true. Right? And I think everybody will experience that at some point in their career. Right?
Yeah. Has anybody been following the news with this COVID-19? And a lot of people who moved to the city for urban living are now moving to the suburbs. I have a couple of agents in the Newport area that are working with people that are leaving New York City because they can now work from home and they can live in the suburbs. So they're looking to move to Rhode Island to get out of the city. There's almost like a mass exodus leaving the urban populations.
Right.
Yep. Exodus from cities to towns. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of people fleeing to Cape Cod.
Yep.
Beautiful place to work now that
Yeah.
you can.
Good.
So we're going to talk more during Ignite about how to stay in touch with these people. All right. But one thing to keep in mind is if you just call these people when you're looking for business, they're probably not going to be as excited to give you business if you're not checking in with them and building that relationship year round. So some ways that you can stay in touch with a client. There is a lot of simple ways. Again, we're going to talk about them later. But in January, send them their closing statement if they just bought with you last year. Check in with them periodically to build your vendor list. You know, hey, who do you know that's a great plumber, a great electrician? I trust your judgment and I'd like to build my vendor list. Get them on a quarterly call smart plan. Put them on the DTD2. Thanks to Command, there are so many ways that we can stay in touch with them, and we're going to go through these in Ignite. Okay, so we're going to practice calling our sphere of influence during Ignite here. But first, we want to review the do not call list. So make sure, if you look over page 9, that talks about your do not call list. And then also just speak with your local market center about what the rules and regulations are there. If we do not follow the do not call list, we can get in a lot of trouble. So let's make sure that we are being great realtors and doing all the right things that we're supposed to be doing, okay? So what fears or hesitations do you have about calling your sphere right now? Does anybody have any?
I see one from Jade saying, how do you check in with people without sounding fake? And I love that because, you know, that's a mindset thing on how you're projecting to somebody else. And I see Tim nodding his head here because we've probably all had this same thing where we feel like car salesy sometimes. Like, you know, sometimes we get that kind of reference, right? Where there's the car salesman and then there's the realtor. Well, that's our perception of it. And if you change that mindset in the way that you ask or the way that you talk to somebody and just have a conversation, it changes. So one of the things that we talk a lot about, Jade, is we'll say something like, I'm looking to help 16 families buy, sell, invest, or rent in real estate this year. Do you know anybody that I could help? Right? Checking in on saying, hey, listen, I'm just looking to help somebody. Everybody's looking to help. That's why you form communities, things like that. So I think it's just a little bit of shifting that mindset on how you're asking, because you're not saying, I need to sell a house this month. Can you give me a buyer? Can you give me a seller? No, you're saying, hey, look, I'm looking to help. Will you help me help them? Right? Anyone want to add on to that? Any one of our coaches?
Yeah, I think, you know, bold law, logic makes them think, emotion makes them act, right? And given the opportunity, everyone wants to be part of our story. And for some reason, we love to not allow them to do that sometimes. So if we can stay off the metrics, and even if you are a metric-driven person, I love you. That's not me. So I'm speaking to my people and hopefully getting through to some of our high Ds who just want to get to the end game. I'll joke and I'll say Nathan Nicky. He just wants you to buy the house, right? Although he's good with his language as well. So we want to stay off the metrics and stay into care. And if you're one of the agents right now that feels like COVID was so last March and those care calls aren't really a thing anymore, we have to remember every week that passes, somebody else is now home from school because their school's not doing hybrid. Somebody lost their job. Like every day and every week, people's circumstances change for the better or for the worse, and we don't know. So we can't just assume everybody's okay. They would have called me if they needed me. So opening with that care call, and above and beyond that, to Bovie's point, just asking them who they know that you should know. And I would always ask it that way because that allows me usually to lead gen for two different things. Well, what do you mean by that, Tim? Well, I'm looking for, and I would call the BLT of real estate, buyers, listings, and talent, right? But I'm going to say listings first because we need listings. Have you been to New England lately? We're shy on listings, right? So I'm looking for listings for my buyers for my listings, and talent for my team. New agent, limiting belief. I'm not building a team, Tim. You're building your growth tree because profit share works, right? Has anybody got profit share money lately? And if you haven't, that might be your fault too. So let's work on those conversations and just asking people to allow us to help their people. Who do you know that we should know? Who do you know that we can help? And then people start to think about who they want to be involved in helping. If we call up and just say, hey, I need to sell a house yesterday, who do you know that I can hoodwink? They're probably not going to lean into that conversation. They want to know that we're here to help with our, Gary said, head down, heart up, service first, sales second.
Yep. And that's again, come from contribution. I want to address something that Molly put in the chat. Molly said she's so new to this. She doesn't know all the answers to the questions, and that becomes intimidating. Absolutely. We know that becomes intimidating. And one of the ways that I instruct my agents is to say to her, oh, you know what, Jen? That's a really good question. I don't want to give you incorrect information. So what I'd like to do is get back to you this evening. I want to verify some facts or make sure that my answer is correct. Can I get back to you by 5 tonight?
Yep.
Because you want to come across as that you're professional. And just as a professional, that does not mean you know all the answers, but you know where to go to find them.
May I say something?
Oh, go ahead.
I just want to ask, Jen, you just mentioned something about stating on a call, that you have, like, you want to meet a goal of 16 houses to sell or help somebody, for the year. How exactly did you say that? Because I really like that.
Sure,
I
I'll
used
say
to
it
be
again.
so afraid to make calls just to people I knew because, quite honestly, I like talking to people, but a lot of times I'm just not in the head to do that,
Right. So, Shepard actually put something in the comments as well, that it's just not in his character to just reach out to people, and it sounds similar. And, I would use that with the calls. I would say something like, hey, I typically wouldn't just give you a call. Yeah, I'm really excited because I am now a real estate professional and I'm looking to help 16 families buy, sell, invest, or rent in real estate this year. Do you know anybody that I could help that might be in the need of finding one of those things? Because it's not just about selling it, right? It's about shelter, and it's about finding somebody a safe place and a place to live. So if we shift our mindset and really talk about how can I really help somebody in this need, like there is a need for this, how can I help them and how can I be that professional? That could shift that mindset for you.
Yeah, I like that. All right. Thank you.
And when this all started, when COVID started, most of us were just making care calls, right? Was there anybody that saw business come out of just those care calls? There's got to be others. I know I saw a lot of business come out of just those care calls, right? So those care calls can be very powerful. And yep, Shauna did too. So, it's, again, like we say, it's building that relationship, building that trust, and letting people know that you care about them. So don't be afraid to do it, right? And if there's something truly holding you back, make that first call, if you haven't talked to them a while, truly just a care call. And then you can wait a week or two and call them back and incorporate business. You don't have to do it on that first call, right? The most important thing is just staying back in touch with them. So Heidi, do you want to, role play one of these Ford method conversations?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So basically, Ford is an easy way to talk to people. So you're going to talk to them about their family, their occupation, their recreation, and their dreams. So we're going to run through how that goes real quick for you, and then we'll talk about it after. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Heidi, it's Paula Welch. How are you?
Hey, Paula. I'm great. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Gosh, it's been a while since I talked to you. How's your family doing?
Oh, we're doing good. We're healthy. Thank you.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. Nobody's been directly impacted during this time?
No, we've been very lucky.
Oh, thank God. And what about your work? Do you get to work from home, or are you going into the office now?
I do. I work a little from home. It's kind of a hybrid, and I go into the office a few days a week as well.
How does it feel to you?
I'm liking it. I am. It's a good balance.
Yeah, that's good. I've heard a lot of that around lately. Have you been doing anything for fun?
You know what? I ordered 3 new cookbooks and I've been trying a lot of recipes out on my family, and so far it's gone well.
Ah, cool. What's your favorite one so far?
Oh, I made these pumpkin cupcakes with a spiced cream cheese frosting.
Oh, that
It
sounds
was really
delicious.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect time of year for that. I can't wait to go pumpkin picking.
Yeah.
So what are you going to be most excited to do again when the world opens up again?
Well, Paulie, you know that I am a Disney Vacation Club member, so I am really jonesing for a trip to Disney.
Wow,
Yeah.
I hope you get there soon.
Yeah, we have plans to go in March, so fingers crossed.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you guys, that's family, occupation, recreation, dreams, right? If you choose after you get through that, now you've got a little bit of a conversation going already. So when you get through that, it's your choice if you want to bring up business now, or if you want to say, gosh, you know, great talking to you. You know, I've got to get back to my work right now. And, you know, I just thought I'd take a little break and say hello to you. So that can just be a pure care call. So the thing about that conversation also, guys, is that we learn that the person that talks the most in a conversation always feels like it went the best, right? So the person that's talking about themselves always feels that the conversation went the best. So by getting Heidi to talk about herself, she truly feels that I'm caring about her, right? Repeat back what they said and make sure that they know you're truly listening and you're not just firing questions off at them. So if that was a real conversation, it would have gone a little bit longer. I just didn't want to make you guys sit through the whole thing. So attacking fear of go ahead.
Can I just interject something here just for a quick? So some people may not feel comfortable having a conversation like this because maybe they're not used to it. So if you get, you know, different cultures or nationalities or even generations, they may not feel comfortable having a conversation like this. Then you do what works for them. If these are the people that you're calling in your sphere, you know what works with them, then that's how you do it. Family, occupation, recreation, and dreams may be suspicious. They may be like, who is this person? And, you know, what have you done with my friend Joe? Do what works for you and the people that you're speaking with.
Right.
And you can come across just having a quick conversation. You can do that icebreaker of a conversation with whatever works for you and your group. Okay?
I have a question.
Yes.
I have a question. So how do you go from Ford to talking about business?